he arranged that Arjuna was there fighting on his behalf, and they were together. And in this way, many purposes were fulfilled. That's when Krishna he acts, or whenever he does something. By one action he accomplishes many purposes. So one of the purposes why Arjuna did do it was so their relationship became much more intimate, much stronger. And again, this principle applies for all of us. Why is service entrusted to us? Because this is how we establish our relationship to Krishna. This is how we establish our relationship amongst ourselves. We are in a situation where we have to render service to Krishna, to Prabhupada, by assisting, helping out, assisting us amongst ourselves. So we also develop deep, strong bonds and friendships amongst ourselves. This is why that's actually the real active principle in devotional service is really to be part of an association of devotees and have strong friendship amongst devotees. Therefore, the service we have to do together. But Krishna doesn't really need it. I mean, it's not that, but he could do it. But we need to do it, and Krishna is very happy to have his devotees doing it. It's more fun. It gives him greater pleasure that his devotees are acting his instruments than when he does it directly. So, in that sense also, it's Krishna could not do it and get the same pleasure he gets from performing activities than when he lets his devotees do it. And so that's one point. Because sometimes we might wonder why is it such an involved creation process, but as I understand, this is the reason, because the whole purpose is to engage everyone in different kinds of services. So part of the service that's being done is simply is a creation of this material world, maintenance of this material world, destruction of this material world. So anyhow, the particular context of this verse is, of course, how Maharaj Chitraketu has been cursed by Mother Parvati, Durga, and the way that he is reacting, which he's not reacting at all. Besides being very kind and apologetic and to Mother Parvati and saying that I'm sorry that you're disturbed, and is that anything that did anything wrong? I was right what I say, but we should not be disturbed. And so and then he accepts the curse happily, if it be so. Then yes, I'll gladly accept that curse. And now Shiva is talking about the glories of the Vaishnavas, how they are they're not attached to anything in this world. The good and the bad, the happiness and distress, the heat and the cold, and so on. The dualities of this material world, here this verse talks about the dualities, which are, when we look in the material world, we see dualities, we see something as good and bad, we see as, happiness, distress, or heat and cold, and we consider one thing good and another thing bad, and like that. But actually, the transcendentalist does not see it like that. He sees this is just different features of the material energy, and he is, if he's in heaven or hell, it doesn't matter to him. He is simply, for him, the real transcendentalist is attached to Krishna's service in any circumstance, and the material circumstance, he's unaffected by it. Conditioned souls, on the other hand, are very much disturbed by these dualities of the material world. It's actually the whole basis of material existence. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Isha Dvesha Samutvena Dvandamo Bharata Samo Ham Sabhutani Sagriyanti Parantapa that all living entities are born into delusion overcome by the duality of desire and hatred. This is actually when we fall into the material world. This is how the illusion manifests itself. It manifests itself as actually material energy is a very simple thing. It's some very basic material elements, and these elements take all kinds of forms that appear in front of us. And in illusion, we are attracted to these forms, and we think, oh, this is a nice form. Oh, this is a horrible form. This form will bring me happiness. This form is, is threatening my happiness. And this way, we get caught up in these dualities of good material forms, bad material forms. But for the transcendentalist, he sees all this idea about good and bad in this material world. Simply illusion. Everything is bad in this material world. There's nothing good in this material world. Of course, I mean, there's Krishna's service, there are Krishna's devotees, and also there are souls, who are. Then the souls are not really the material world. They are conditioned souls who are Krishna's eternal parts and parcels. Really at the core, every soul is pure. But we just covered over. But the material energy as such is not. It's not. There's not like good forms in the material world, or good material circumstances, or bad material circumstances. They're all bad. Basically, they're all bad because they are. They cause us to forget Krishna. But in terms of our happiness, it doesn't make any difference if it's this material circumstance, that material circumstance. That's how devotee. And this we see here with Maharaj Chittaketu. He was living in a very heavenly circumstance as a king of the Vijayaras. Now he became cursed to become an ugly demon, fighting against the demigods and being ultimately killed. And he doesn't make any difference to him. He was not attached to the heavenly situation. He doesn't despise his hellish situation. He doesn't even register it. Because the only thing that he's worried about is glorification of Krishna, attachment to Krishna's service. And in that way he actually saw, he's not undisturbed by material circumstances, but he sees everything, all material circumstances, as a way of increasing his service to Krishna. In that sense, the devotee, it's not that he doesn't see the material energy or that he doesn't see opportunities for service in the material energy. He's actually very attentive to the material energy, but he actually doesn't see it as material. He sees it as Krishna's energy. And now the energy has created this particular circumstance, which is it's an even better chance for increasing my service to Krishna. This is how Maharaj Chittaketu saw it. To be such a demon but then be killed, and then that I can go much faster back to Godhead than I would otherwise. So actually he sees it. Not only is he unaffected by the curse or transcendental or neutral to it, but he actually sees it as a blessing. And that's the real devotee. He sees any circumstance, even though it might seem unfavorable or something reversed, but he sees it's just an even greater opportunity for rendering more service to Krishna, to become more closer and more attached to Krishna. So so this chapter has this very, very nice chapter about the nature of a devotee and of course nature of the relationship between Krishna and his devotee. You have 5 minutes for questions, I think.
Stupid questions?
Oh, I have a handful.
I have stupid questions.
We'll take the stupid ones first.
Okay. So why don't we just eat a lot of prasadam sugar? White sugar.
Huh?
Why don't we just eat a lot of prasadam sugar, white sugar, and just...
With white sugar?
Yeah. And kill ourselves. in Prashadam sugar, it's okay.
No, I mean, any stupid action is not okay. You can also just say, yeah, but even so, why don't we just jump out from the window on the fifth floor and say, and chant, Hare Krishna, and then kill ourselves and then go back to Godhead.
That is suicide.
Yeah, and to kill yourself.
Prashadam is not suicide.
It's suicide in Prashadam.
No.
But I mean, if you can do it, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. I got that blessing.
But no. We have this body, and it's Krishna's body, and it's the instrument. Krishna has provided us this body as his instrument in his service, so we have to maintain it nicely. Just like he has provided a car that is parked out here for his service, so it is Krishna's car, so it has to be maintained properly, with taking the oil, taking the water, and cleaning it, keeping it nice and clean and orderly, and it's Krishna's car, has to be, in top shape for Krishna's service. The body like that. The body should be kept, top tuned for Krishna's service.
Sincere question.
Also, yeah.
So, Brahma, he was bewildered by Mahamaya, but Brahma is Haridas Thakur.
Yeah.
So,
that's why Brahma took birth as Haridas Thakur, so he got a blessing that he would take a low birth, and they are not at all be attracted by materially. He had a slight attraction. It was just a slight attraction in the form of Brahma. So,
what is the pastime?
The pastime was that Brahma was attracted by his own daughter. So a sexual relationship to his own daughter. But of course, in Brahma's case, Brahma's body is made of pure intelligence. So it was just a thought, actually. In his thought, he ran after his daughter. Just a thought. But that's on that level. This is actually real. Because his body is not made of gross matter. It's made of intelligence. So that's a level he functions on. But it was just a thought. He gave up that thought, actually. So but of course, learned a heavy lesson about the nature of material energy, material illusory energy, and became, then I got the benediction that he would take birth as Haridas Thakur, and there he would not be affected at all, attracted at all by material energy. In particular, in the shape of beautiful women, and then Maya Devi herself was there testing. There was nothing. He had no attraction.
You mentioned this example of Bhaktivinoda Thakur and how Srila Prabhupada, he said that actually he was empowered to make the whole world Krishna consciousness, but he didn't because he wanted to leave some service for us. But so we could also think in the same way that actually I could go out today and do something nice for Krishna and for Srila Prabhupada, but actually I think I'd rather just leave the service for the next generation. Out of my causeless mercy, of course.
Yeah. So you can think like that if you're on the level of some Thakur. But we have to be greedy for more service because we need it. We are quite conditioned souls, quite polluted, in a quite diseased condition. So we need a lot of service to actually get cured from material disease. And of course we don't have to worry, there'll be plenty of service for us also. That's the nature of devotional service, it's an expanding ocean. The more service that is rendered, the more opportunities for service is there also. There's no end to how much services can be rendered unto Krishna. But Prabhupada said like that. I mean, it's a little mystical statement, this Prabhupada, how to understand that. Prabhupada said that about Bhakti.
I very much like this example you gave of strong friendships, like brothers in arms, who they go to war together and they fight the enemy and they save each other's life. And I was just thinking of like the experience that like traveling Sankirtan, which like I've seen a little glimpse of it. But could you maybe tell a little about like back in the days when it was like it was really going on like in grand style?
I can tell a bit about it, but it's a fact that we were traveling around in vans, free parties of 3 men, 4 men, 5 men sometimes, and living under. No materialist can imagine often living like that, we are 5 men living in a car. And then of course, we often stay overnight, so it's, one or 2 rooms, and, sometimes youth hostels, sometimes people we know, sometimes rent a room here and there. And
often some people couldn't imagine how that was done also.
They should not even try to imagine. But as I look back, actually, something I was thinking about this morning, I was in the bathroom. I have my own apartment, I have my own bathroom, like that. I think it's just boring. I'm missing the days when we were up in 5 hours, 1 bathroom, 5 had to get through in the morning in like 15-20 minutes to be ready for the morning program or the article like that. And it's so nice in the morning, you get up in the morning and instead of just being alone, just be already together with someone. You spend the night together, and then you were snoring together, or of course there's also there's inconveniences also by living with someone so close, so that you learn to tolerate that, and you understand the tolerance has to go both ways. But that's what it's so nice in the morning that you're there, 4 or 5 main brahmacharis, and you are you're sharing around the same sink, the brushing teeth, and one is using the bathroom, and they take turns using the bathroom, and afterwards you take turns, take the shower, one gets into the shower and just gets wet and goes out, another goes in and gets wet, while the second is, soap like that. Then again, one is rinsing himself, and the next is rinsing himself. You find out ways of, actually you can get, 5 men can be shipped through a bathroom quite quickly. Now I spend half an hour, 1 person, where before it was 5 men who get through the same in 15 minutes.
Half an hour?
You do it really well, I have my and have to comb and see that nice. I have to look in the mirror and how do I look, and then in this age also I have to know there's one more wrinkle I have to get. I don't know.
Actually, I was not very often on Sankirtan, but one time I remember we came to a summer house with some girls in Sønderborg, and that was after you people, the Prabhus. and it looked like, well, I just remember that it looked like, no, it didn't look like a normal summer house. It was really messy, and it was like you really had to get out the door very fast. So I just, probably it was not like that every place, but I just know that that particular summer house, the owners, they were not willing to rent this to us again.
Okay. I don't think I was there. I was strict on, leaving the places as, as people
There
expect.
were also different parties.
But
you were there after, so they left some services for you to do.
yeah, that was Christmas.
Yeah.
And but the point is, it does bring one God does get close. That feels get really close to the Holy Spirit. Generally, rendering any service that is necessary, helping this other like that. But if we, traveling and be on the street, or we have in Poland, they have their big festival program like that. Where they have a festival tour for the whole summer month, going just putting up big festival in one town, and then the next day taking it down, going. It's like a traveling circus like that. Guarantee that the closeness to God's experience there is also really something special. So, yeah, we have to stop here. We're already over time. Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srimad Bhagavatam ki.